I attended Juilliard. I'm a graduate of the Harvard Business School. I travel quite extensively. I lived through the Black Plague and had a pretty good time during that. I've listened to Zombie Takeout about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I hear it. Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy. Now, what do you think? You think I'm qualified?
Hello and welcome to episode 556 of Zombie Takeout, the B movie and
Zombie
cult movie
Takeout.
show. Apologies for my voice; it's a little rough tonight. Hopefully, it'll get better. Um, Before we get to this week's movie, I just wanted to mention a news story I found yesterday, I believe it was. I don't have it in front of me, so I don't have the headline, but it will be in the show notes. Long and short of it is someone who had a computer that created an AI piece of visual quote unquote art tried to copyright that piece of art in the US. The Copyright Office said no, a human has to be involved for it to be uh, eligible for copyright. The person who owned the computer tried to push it up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court declined to take the case, which means that AI works are now ineligible for copyright in the US. It's official.
And hallelujah. And by the way, I'm Scotto.
Oh, I apologize. I'm John. I
And
apologize. I skipped that part a lot. Well, not a lot, but now and then, if I'm going to skip a part, yeah, that's the part I skip. Anyway,
and
um, just, great
and
news.
you're guaranteed that this show is not AI generated.
Well, no, no, no. Um,
But you were talking about the monkey that or the
yeah,
ape that took the picture
mhm,
can't claim copyrighted.
right.
Now I'm thinking if we do get those monkeys with the typewriters and
Uh-huh.
they do happen to write Shakespeare, yeah, it's not copyrighted either.
True. Although I'd rather, a work that luck generated through several monkeys than something that a computer stole.
I'm just picturing Malvolio throwing shit at Viola and I think it was Viola. How can I forget Twelfth Night? I suffered through that play so much.
Fortunately, I only had to see it once.
Oh
It
man.
was it was good the one time. Um, Anyway, on to this week's movie, which is from 1988, Beetlejuice. Of course, this is our tribute to the late great Catherine O'Hara, and that brings us to the impromptu plot summary, sponsored by the Handbook for the Recently Deceased. You probably don't want to find it anywhere today.
And also brought to you by Beetlejuice Bioexorcisms. Have an annoying living human being that you wish to get rid of that would make the world a 1,000 times better place? Call Beetlejuice Bioexorcisms today. All right, so we begin. I mean, it's like the intro to Bob Newhart with the music of The Simpsons. We usually don't talk about the credits of the impromptu
Mhm.
plot
Yeah.
summary, but yeah, it's just instead of that dreamlike classical music, you got Danny Elfman's Simpsons music going over the dreamlike. It sometimes switches from real a real helicopter footage to the model at some
Well, it
point.
switches very obviously to the model at the end, which I was going to mention, but it's a feature. It's in the story. It is a model.
Yeah, yeah, of course, the model plays a huge part of the story. And what it is, it's this guy who's only about 30 years old at the time, but he's gotten into his model set already somehow. You know, that's the really weird part of this movie is that the young married couple play so old, but they're really like, in their late 20s, early
Yeah.
30s.
I had to wonder when it was set, but it was clearly set in the late 80s
Yeah, yeah,
because
it
they
definitely
look like
was.
they were out of the 50s, at least
Right.
the couple.
And I guess that's the thing with Tim Burton is that, everything he does kind of has this 1960s, you know, early 60s, mid 60s kind of feel to it,
Hmm.
where everything's very traditional
Right.
and rigid.
Well, because it offsets the gothic stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Like even if you go to like Edward Scissorhands, it has a very, trad feel to it in the suburbs. So yeah, we have this married couple that are playing way older than they should be. Um, and unfortunately, they had to go to the hardware store into town. They were trying to take a staycation, which I don't think was even a coined phrase back then. And they get into a terrible car accident on the way home and wind up, well, discovering that they are dead.
If only they just
And
hit the dog.
they get, yeah, just take the dog out. Well, anyway, uh, you uh, the problem is with being dead. Well, there's a lot of problems being dead in this movie. This is a very bleak view of the afterlife. More on that later. But
Mm.
the first starter is you get no guidance whatsoever. You get this stupid book that of course everybody the running joke is it reads like stereo instructions, and you have to work things out from there. But if you get exercised, you wind up in an even worse situation of like this void, hell-like, abyss. So you have to be very careful. And these guys are not. They wind up getting photographed. They wind up leaving their instruction manual out. So the yuppie couple has a
Mhm.
friend who believes he's a paranormal expert, finds it and takes it, and the couple tries to use them for parlor tricks because they have this scheme of converting the quaint town into their
Mhm.
New York City hellscape themselves. And
Gentrification.
yeah, gentrification. We didn't really talk about that much back then either, did we? Um, I'm just thinking of Hooper X from
Mhm.
Chasing Amy.
Right.
Uh, they have this so of course the solution is to summon this bioexorcist. Uh, you can't call him a demon really. He's well, I guess he's just been a ghost for so long
Mhm.
that he I think I missed the line the ghost with the most. Was that from this movie?
I probably, I think it was probably one of his long spiels. He just slipped it in. Didn't
Or it
really
might have
stand
just been
out.
one of those things that you saw in the commercial and didn't see in the movie, but I
Maybe.
swear,
Yeah.
there's so many Michael Keaton lines
Mhm.
in it that obviously he had free reign to go off on a lot of stuff, I
Oh, he
think.
improvised like 90% of this.
He had to have, yes. And the problem with summoning him though is that well, he wants to well, in the end he wants to marry a kid.
Yeah. They never say her age in the film, but Winona Ryder was 15 when the movie was filmed.
Yeah, she was quite clearly
Mhm.
in like middle to high school,
Yeah.
early high
Well,
school
I
sort
know
of
she
thing.
was 15 because she's like 3 or 4 months older than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and I turned 16 in 88 when it came out, like a month before the movie came
All
out.
right. And yeah, you can clearly see towards the end that she's in like a middle or high school,
Hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, that does not want to stop Beetlejuice, who would like to marry her. At first he was of course hitting on the missus of the
Mm.
ghost and trying to feel Alec Baldwin's character out for, what kind of relationship they had to see if he could get in with Gina Davis's character.
Hmm.
But
Initially, in my notes, I said, "Whatever happened to Gina Davis?" Then I looked it up, and she's actually been working fairly steadily. I've just missed most of it.
yeah, for an actress,
Hmm.
women of a certain age, they usually get shut out, but she has managed to avoid that.
Yeah.
Like they really tried to kill her career with that was it Cutthroat Island,
Yeah.
which of course was the fault of the director,
And I
which
think
whose
she
name
was
I'm blanking
married to the
on.
director at the time.
Yeah,
So it was more for him. She did it for him, and yeah, it was a bad idea.
but I mean, it was obviously the director, and
Hmm.
the name escapes me. I don't I
Remy
keep wanting
something or other. I don't remember his last name.
I keep wanting to say Milos Forman, but
No, no.
obviously not. Remy something. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. Uh, yeah, they do wind up having to use him. They can put him back, but they wind up having to use him in the end because the yuppies and their friend, with the book, almost performs an exorcism, banishing them to this hellscape. But they use Beetlejuice to save the day, and then stab Beetlejuice in the back, and hilarity ensues.
Well, to be fair, he's trying to marry a kid, so
Yes, yes.
I was not prepared for the big spider that starts the film.
Oh, I forgot about the big
You
spider.
know, they follow the camera zooms in through the town, and we
Oh,
get
right.
we get
Yeah.
to the farmhouse, and the farmhouse is revealed to be a model, and then a big spider crawls up onto the top of the house, and Alex Baldwin comes in and takes the spider and takes it outside. But yeah, I was not prepared for the big spider because I don't know if I said this on air or off air, but this is the first time I've seen the movie.
This might be one of, I mean, it's been a while since I've seen a movie that we've reviewed this many times.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the last time we've seen something that I've seen a number of times. And fairly recently, we
Uh,
watched this for Halloween
okay,
uh, this year.
but I did appreciate that it was only 6 minutes in before they kill the couple. They didn't waste any time on that.
Well, right. And they make it lighthearted enough where
Oh
you
yeah.
don't like have to think
Hmm.
about, oh yeah, this couple's gonna be dead.
And the horror effects are a bit cheesy, but it fits the tone of the film.
Yeah. And this is very Tim Burton. I mean,
Oh yeah. I loved the alien planet they wound up on when they tried to leave the house with the sandworms.
they pretty much put them in the middle of Arrakeen.
Arrakis, yeah. Um, and I love that. Yeah,
Arrakis,
yeah.
yeah.
And I love how Barbara just decks the sandworm at one point, trying to save her husband.
I don't know, they were very awkward in their acting in the very beginning when they were
Uh-huh.
alive still. Like Gina Davis looked way too happy to be running to the store.
They were out of time,
Yeah.
which I think was an intentional choice to offset them from the weirdness of the Dietzes and the very 80s-ness of the Dietzes, which is the family who moves in, who tries to take over the house. Um, I loved Lydia's line, "My whole life is a dark room, one big dark room."
You could tell, like, she is, the stand-in for Tim
Hmm. Hmm.
Burton. She is the voice of Tim Burton in this movie.
And this was her breakout. This preceded Heather's and Scissorhands and everything that made her huge back then.
Was this really her first, though? I mean,
2 movies before this, but they weren't that big, or at least she didn't have major roles in them. This was their first
wow.
major
Because,
role.
I mean, I feel like, but then again, I feel like we've just always known her.
Well, yeah. I mean, she's still considered like the queen of Gen X.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's just hard to imagine a time
Hmm.
before her. Oh,
Yeah.
Lucas was,
Yeah. And that's when I said she didn't have a major role. Lucas, I remember being a pretty big movie, but I don't remember her being in it, and she's
yeah.
further down on the cast list. This was the first one where we became aware of her as Winona Ryder. And then, of course, Heather's was, I think,
Wow.
the one that really, shot her through the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Um,
Turned her into a star pretty
yeah.
much.
Um, I love that Beetlejuice is spelled correctly everywhere except the title of the film.
Yes. Well, for marketing purposes, you can't have
Right.
it,
Yeah.
something that people are going to
They'll
mispronounce.
pronounce it like Barbara does in the film. Um,
Right.
the sculpture crashing through the window when the father is getting his tea, great jump scare.
And just very practical, just a crash.
Mhm. And I will say, I know this is a Catherine O'Hara tribute, but from this role, I can see why Winona got so big because her performance in this is brilliant.
And O'Hara is very much against her normal type, you
Well, no,
know?
she kind of had two speeds. She had the more the doting motherly characters as she got older. When she was younger, it was histrionic but funny.
Like it was a real gamble putting her and Principal Rooney in the roles they're in this because they're both going against their types, you know? And I thought Principal Rooney was kind of awkward in his
Well, he
role. He
always
just
is.
didn't it just didn't work for me.
We're not naming him. Um,
Right. There's a lot of times I'll forget the actor's name, but
uh,
no, this time I remember it and
uh,
I'm
um,
choosing not to say it.
I love that the afterlife has a bureaucracy.
Yeah, the afterlife, if you follow the view of the afterlife in this film,
Mhm.
it is really fucking bleak, man.
Burton must have been reading some Douglas Adams.
Probably. He probably did get that from Douglas Adams, the whole waiting room and
Yeah.
the numbers and how just the regulation of it all. But not just this, but everything about it, you're still kind of condemned to your physical life,
Yeah.
you're being haunted by your your vices.
Right. Right.
You're still being haunted by what tormented you while you were still
Yeah.
alive.
If you died violently, you're still in the physical condition that you were when you died.
And they kind of do explain away uh why Barbara and Adam are still, looking normal
Mm.
as opposed to the people that, who killed
Yeah.
themselves,
Well, and they
or
drowned, so
eh,
it didn't affect their physical forms.
I mean, we saw people that had also drowned, like, the football
Oh, that's
players.
true. That's true.
They died in the same manner, but
Mm.
looked different.
Yeah.
I mean, not sure why, but they said it's personal to everybody,
Mm.
and I'd never noticed until this viewing that Juno's throat
Oh,
has smoke that comes out of it
okay.
and has an opening to it.
Uh,
Like she had her throat slit.
uh. Speaking of explanations, I like the explanation for why Lydia can see them. Yeah, she's not a normal person.
Right, her focus. She's someone who's focused on the other world,
Mm. Yeah.
the where the veil is thinnest, I guess.
Now, one thing I don't think they've explained is how Barbara learned the correct pronunciation of Beetlejuice. I don't know
Yeah,
if
that's a
Juno
good
said it
question.
or not.
I don't think they said till later.
Yeah,
Well,
she suddenly knows how to pronounce it. Um,
yeah.
Loved when Keaton dropped the Beetlejuice voice when he said he went to Juilliard. It was just Michael Keaton's normal voice.
The funniest damn line.
Mm. And the title character doesn't come in until about halfway through the movie.
You kind of wonder why he's the title character in a way.
That would normally be a criticism, but I kind of liked it.
Yeah,
It really built the anticipation.
the ad helped with
Yeah,
that
yeah. We,
too.
we
I
saw
mean, just
little bits and pieces of him here and there, but he didn't really come into the film until about halfway. Um,
right. The teasing of him really
yeah.
worked well.
Mm. Nice to see a cameo from Dick Cavett.
Right. How many films did Dick Cavett and Robert Goulet actually do together?
Did
I mean, what an odd
they
choice
do a
for
lot
both of them.
together? I know they did a lot of individual things.
I don't think so. I don't know. It's just really strange.
I've mentioned Beth Roars on the hearing a bunch of times. A couple vocal coach YouTuber who I'm a big fan of and a Patreon supporter. Every month she does Zoom calls for the patrons where we all pick a song based on a theme and watch them and talk about them. Um, the most recent was 2 days before we're recording this, and someone picked a Robert Goulet song, and I mentioned that to Gen X we mostly know him from like sitcom appearances, so it was kind of odd to see him doing his thing.
I mean, wasn't he like a big like man of La
Yeah,
Mancha?
he was a Broadway guy.
Yeah.
Um, so it was interesting to see him do what he actually did before the secondary career of being a TV guy. Um, The Deo scene is an absolute classic.
It I mean, if you're not aware of the cultural,
Mm-hmm.
you know, things of it, it kind of just comes out of nowhere. Even though they were listening to Belafonte earlier, it just like
Mm-hmm.
it's such a left turn that
Yeah.
she's like, and I'd like to say,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, people would sing this to Catherine O'Hara
Yeah.
for years to
Mm-hmm.
come,
Mm-hmm.
for the
Of
rest
course.
of her life.
And I love that the rich assholes they were trying to scare off end up seeing the ghosts as a way to make money.
Of course. I think that's kind of the commentary on the whole
Mm-hmm.
film. Like,
Yeah.
there's something pure, there's something real, and some
Right.
asshole's gonna come and try
Mm-hmm.
to sell it and change it and probably even destroy it in the process
Right.
just to try to sell it and make a
Al-
buck.
yeah. Although being possessed didn't scare them off, but a big cheesy Beetlejuice steak did.
I mean, honestly, who wouldn't want to experience that Harry Belafonte thing? I mean, how awesome that would
I
be.
mean, until the big demon hand comes out of the soup and pulls your head into it.
The shrimp fingers of the hand.
Hmm.
But even that, I mean, once you're okay. I mean, it's just like, whoa.
And I thought that Beetlejuice not being able to say his own name was an interesting wrinkle.
That's always the case with the summoning thing,
Okay.
Uh, the young ones did a whole episode on that where you had the two demons who couldn't be summoned, and one had the name like Orgo,
Right.
so it was easy for him to be summoned, but the other one had like Fufanuchus or something like crazy like that,
Hmm.
and he never gets summoned until like Neil went and somehow said it.
Uh, Loved the line about the talking Marcel Marceau statue. You have to be of a certain
Yes.
age to get that, but I enjoyed it.
I mean, even for that time, it was a dated
Mm-hmm.
reference.
But like Gen X knew that reference from like the silent generation and probably
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the older comedians who were on the talk shows. I have to wonder why the handbook for the recently deceased would have a spell to raise the dead.
That's a very good question. Why would the handbook for the recently deceased have an exorcism? Well, it wasn't a raise the dead, really. Wasn't that
Oh,
an exorcism?
oh, okay, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Still an odd choice to have in a handbook for the recently deceased. It was used to um, put Barbara and Alan into their wedding dresses, but also age them up like as if they were, actually dead, or as their bodies would look.
Right, I think
It
the thing
effectively put them
was
back in their bodies.
right to put them back into their bodies, and then I think once that spell was completed,
Mhm.
they would have been in that abyss that they saw
Right,
earlier. That
right,
was
right.
the
Yeah,
the foreshadow.
that makes sense. That makes
You don't
sense.
want an exorcism.
Yeah, loved the claymation when the statues came to life.
A lot of the practical effects, they're cheesy, but they just, I mean, you
Hmm. Yeah,
gotta love them.
yeah, yeah,
I think the only effect that didn't work was the head shrinking at the
yeah,
end.
yeah, yeah. Um, and of course the, as you put it, Shai Hulud ex machina. Barbara coming through with riding the sandworm, coming through the ceiling and the sandworm eating Beetlejuice. Ends with a nice happy ending with Adam and Barbara living with the Dietzes. Nice fun musical number. Um, I can't help wondering what Beetlejuice was like in his life.
I think that's explored somewhere else. I maybe in the later the one where they came back and they did a sequel to this not that long ago, which I don't get how you do a sequel to it.
Perfect segue to sequels and remakes. A spin off animated series, Beetlejuice, aired from 89 to 91 on ABC and Fox. I have actually seen a couple of episodes of that. It was fun. Um, Beetlejuice the Musical, a stage adaptation, premiered at the National Theater in DC in 2018 before transferring to Broadway in 2019. Following an initial closure due to COVID, the musical reopened in 2022 at the Marquee Theater before concluding its Broadway run in 2023. A U.S. national tour began in December 2022. And a sequel to the film Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, with Keaton, Ryder, and O'Hara reprising their roles, was released on September 6th, 2024. I have to see that now.
I saw a teenage version of the musical out in the Quad Cities.
Oh,
I have a niece who's actually becoming quite the
oh,
actress.
nice.
They are casting her left
Mm.
and right, and I have to make a trip out there
Uh,
in just a few weeks for, I think it's Secret Garden. But yeah, that it was interesting how they kind of, made it a little more
mm,
family friendlier than
yeah,
this,
yeah.
because
Uh-huh.
when seeing that and then seeing this at Halloween was like going, oh yeah, they did clean that up a bit. No whorehouses there.
Uh-huh.
And I think Beetlejuice was a bit younger, so it wasn't as
Right.
creepy as
Well, yeah.
this.
If it's all high school, then yeah, it's going to be age appropriate.
Yeah,
On a brains.
on the brains.
First time seeing it, absolutely loved it. It's a 5.
Yeah, it is definitely a five. It's so quirky for something mainstream. I mean, only Tim Burton could be this quirky and make it work.
We started the year with two double fives. This is either a
Oh
really
yeah.
good sign or a really bad sign.
I I don't know. This year does not have a whole lot of good sides to it, so
Yeah,
let's
right.
just keep it coming.
And what have we learned?
Dick Cavett can't dance for shit.
And I learned that it's too late to be neurotic when you're dead. That's it for Beetlejuice. Until next time, when we'll be reviewing The Toxic Avenger. No, not the one we reviewed several years ago, the 2023 version starring Peter Dinklage. I still have yet to
Nice.
watch it.
It's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
I mean, of
Should
course.
mention that. Thank you for the reminder. We're going to be off for the rest of the month. We'll be back recording on April 1st. We're not doing the April Fool's Day thing because we're recording on April 1st. It won't be out on the 1st.
Yeah,
We've got a few weeks off. Really only one episode we'd be missing.
yeah.
Until then, of course, always remember, never forget, wherever you go in life,
There
there
you
you
are.
are.